What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. It is episode 311, and I do not have area code 311 immediately up. Let me just a quick Google search. Quick Google search, Everett. Don't mind me.
Yeah, that one is on the unnamed intern.
Okay, you know what? This I may have some credit here why I didn't include it. The area code 311 is not a regular area code. It's a special code used to access non-emergency city government services. So that's, you know what? That's why. That's why.
Like construction? Like what is
Maybe
that?
maybe you got to call up the trash man directly. I don't know. I don't know. Non-emergency city government services. Fires. No, that's an emergency. Can't be a fire station. Holy shit. What?
Like a hospital?
I would think that
I feel like they have a
emergency.
direct. They probably feel like they have a direct line.
No, yeah, like calling the police, paramedics, hospital.
Yeah, maybe it's like you can call one of those things, but it's just not on the emergency line. Like it's not on 911. And maybe it's just like a hey, I'm reporting something. I don't whatever.
Yeah, maybe that's the number that the son of the Falcons GM called to prank call Shador. Maybe that's
that would be star 67, I believe. But
well, that as well. But I just want to say, like, I found out that Cooper DeJean had the exact same prank pulled on him last year.
Hey,
I'm just curious if we can track the amount of guys who had a phone call on them on draft day and then track their NFL success.
I did hear that that Adam Elliott did call Shador Sanders.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean Shador's had some prankers, you know, some people pranking, but that was quite a story to hear. I also find it hilarious that kid like issued a formal, not a notes app.
It was 100% Chat GPT, by the way.
So, but
no, like somebody checked it, and it was 100% Chat GPT.
Yeah, no, not a notes app, which would have been the perfect way to address it. But like the Atlanta Falcons released a graphic with a statement. It was so funny. But NFL draft wrapped. That was a fun little experience. The Shador saga, the Mel Kiper versus Reese Davis saga.
Mel Kiper just versus the NFL, generally speaking.
It was one of the craziest tirades ever.
My favorite thing out of it though is Mel Kiper being like, the NFL has had a problem evaluating quarterbacks for 50 years, and then I saw an immediate graphic of all Mel Kiper's quarterback evaluations, and it's just all incorrect.
Yeah, no, I was literally about to say, like, bro, like I can think of multiple Mel Kiper evaluations on top of my head. Like, I think Mel Kiper was like the number 1 champion crowner of Mitch Trubisky. If I remember correctly, I believe Mel Kiper was like, Mitchell Trubisky is going to lead the Chicago Bears back to 85. All right. That's what he's going to play the Iron Curtain on offense. It's like, all right, dude. Like
he did technically play the Iron Curtain on offense. He did.
He did not miss on that analysis, but yeah, like that was also crazy. I also think Mel, this is one thing, and I don't know if this was the first year or if it was last year. Help me out here. But was this the first year Todd McShay was not at ESPN? And was this the first?
Like, I think so, because Peter Schrager was there.
Yeah, Schrager. But like for the draft, they had like the game day crew. It was like
the game day crew was there. The game day crew was there. It was just like a separate broadcast.
Oh yeah. That could have. But I think Mel Kiper, the beast was unleashed because Todd McShay wasn't there. I feel like when Todd McShay is there, he keeps him in check. Like Todd McShay is the perfect yin to Mel Kiper's yang. They are like the exact opposite.
I think he actually might have been there for that tirade. I think he might have actually been present for that.
Todd McShay? Todd McShay wasn't at the draft.
I think like I'm
trying to. At least not with ESPN.
Somebody was sitting right next to Reese Davis, and I feel like from my memory it looked like Todd McShay.
I know Kiper was there for many sets, but McShay was not
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
And
know.
I
It's
think
irrelevant.
that's why we saw the Mel
But
Kiper explosion.
I
No
mean,
mache.
just quickly, two things on Shador Sanders because I really don't think it's worth spending that much time talking about it. I guess it might be more than two things. But first of all, I've said on multiple episodes of this show that Shador Sanders wasn't a first round quarterback. First of all, it wasn't surprising he fell out of the first round. I also said, I think I texted you this. I can't remember if I said it on the podcast, but I was like, I'm getting Malik Willis vibes. Like I'm getting like it was day 2 of the draft. I think I know I'm pretty sure I texted you that at least that I was like I'm getting Malik Willis vibes before anything else happened. Um, well, like as a general note, like the reason Shador slid was not that there was some conspiracy or whatever against him. Like let's clarify that, and it's not like the NFL was like having like everybody's like, hey, let's take it out on this kid. It was his actual ability to play quarterback. He's an accurate thrower, but he's not super athletic. He's not super big. He's not super fast. He doesn't have great arm strength. He makes bad decisions. He
I
gets
also need
sacked a
to know
lot.
what these conversations were like. These
But like the other
interviews.
thing
I
was
need
like
to know.
he interviewed so
I need to know.
poorly. And on top of that, like on top of the interviewing poorly, he acted entitled, he acted brash, he acted immature. Dion was basically talking about it. Like he stopped when he realized that like Shador wasn't all that, but like he was like, well, I'm going to choose where he can and can't go. Like that's going to make teams not want to draft you. So it doesn't surprise me that he fell all the way. And if you watch that draft too, like the Kevin Stefanski and Adam Berry were like not happy drafting him. So like owner interference probably also came into play to get him. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if Dion was on the phones with these teams, basically like strong arming them into drafting Shador. But
What do you think that
I'm
would be
saying
like?
at five, well, like more so is just like Dion maybe Dion had some info on one of these owners and was like, hey, I maybe something gets
He's
leaked
blackmailing
if
someone.
you don't take Shador. I don't know. Like I personally think that Shador is not a 5th round quarterback. Like Shador is better than Dylan Gabriel, better than
Milrow was hilarious. Gabriel and
Milrow.
Milrow.
Like
I
at a
genuinely
minimum, like
laughed out loud.
that should not have happened. Like he should have been drafted before them. But I do understand at a certain point if you don't evaluate him just from a talent perspective as a starter, you're not going to want to deal with everything for being a backup. And it is funny. It is
that's where I'm 100%
that's the
with. Like
100%. Yeah, it is also just objectively funny to me that he finally get drafted by the Browns and like he's like happy all that stuff, and then they go and party, and it's like he's like got
that's like
like
the
he's
worst
going out.
possible look.
He's going out with like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and all these rappers. He's got like Louis cases filled with money. I'm like, dude, you're a 5th round pick.
Dude,
like
you gotta stop.
we gotta chill.
Yeah. No, yeah, like
this
clearly.
is the problem people had with you.
Well, yeah, no. That's the best part. Like this is this is what I want to think. If Shador were to be just humble in the past year, like I'm saying, anytime he has a media available
Nose to the
chance,
grindstone.
never one time does like he ever say something bad. Like if he spent the last 2 years where he wasn't saying anything, and Dion and shit, even Shiloh, like Dion is still talking all this stuff, like it would have been fine. It's Dion Sanders.
You're your own
like,
person.
It would have been fine. Like no problems there. But I think the problems came where his confidence clearly became arrogance very fast.
Yeah, let's also clarify because a lot of people on like Twitter and stuff were like, "Oh yeah, this is a problem with people like they don't want to let like a confident, all racially motivated, like confident
this
person
thing,
like." I'm like, that's not true. Like,
no,
that's
this
not
thing,
the problem.
I need my quarterback to be irrationally confident in himself.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You want that. You want your quarterback to have an irrational, I am the best mentality, because that job, okay, being a quarterback, that job is so hard to do that you need to be full of yourself in order to do it at a high level for years.
No,
like
100%.
You need to believe.
Well, like think about it this way: like Baker Mayfield, irrationally confident in himself, like key example right there. Like,
and I think Baker's actually maybe a good comparison for Shador, where it's fine having that rash confidence, arrogance in your ability and yourself. Like I'd want that actually out of my quarterback.
like
But
Also, like Caleb also
yeah,
super confident in
yeah.
himself.
And but like I think you need that. And but like also at the same time, I think a Drake May or a Justin Herbert is irrationally confident in themselves, but they just do not exhibit that. But
No,
I still
yeah,
believe they are. I'd be shocked if Justin Herbert didn't think he was one of the three greatest quarterbacks on the planet. I'd be shocked if he didn't
yeah. He
think that.
just won't admit it, but he probably. So you have to
I need him to think that.
subconsciously
Like,
you can't think that
yeah,
anybody's better than
I
you
just
if
think
you
with
want to be the
Shador,
best.
it became arrogance and he started acting as if things were already given to him. And
Yeah,
that's
the
where
other
I think problems.
problem is you get to the things in the late stages where like Travis Hunter deserved to have his jersey retired. I don't know about Shador. And then you get to like the draft combine and
The
you're
jersey
talking
stuff,
well,
whatever.
I'm just
The
saying it's
draft, I
like
think he's absolutely
the
fumbled everything.
combine, when he's doing interviews, he's like, "Yeah, why wouldn't the team want to draft me? Like I've been like having to deal with adversity at every corner. Like, he's like, do you know who my dad is? Like we get haters all the time. Like it's fine. Like blah 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 blah. Not necessarily the things that I would have suggested responding with. It's also like, I mean, yeah, he did bring the program back in Colorado and in Jackson State, but also like at the severe help of having Travis Hunter. And he also, I think one of the bigger concerns too is like he's never played without his dad present. Like that,
That's
it's
my big
also like a
point. I
problem.
keep bringing up, like, dude, Dion has been Shador's coach for the past 8 years of his life, I think. I
Would
think
add up.
I think it's past 8 years of his life. Dion has been his coach. And in high school, Dion, you know what Dion's formal role was at the high school Shador was playing? He was
Quarterback
offensive
coach.
coordinator,
Ah,
not head. No. Like Dion is literally this whole coaching thing is for Shador to go to the NFL. I've been saying this for years. That's why he became a coach, like to get Shador to the NFL. And hey, if I were Dion and I were in the position, I probably would do the same thing. If I can get my kid to the NFL, I'll go be a
I
coach.
mean, also
Yeah.
like I'll be honest, like
I'm not blaming Dion for
talking
any of
about no,
this.
well,
I
also like
actually tipped the cap.
Dion. By the
Shout
way,
out to
like
you.
true. I agree with that. And also, by the way, it's not even like Dion's like a bad head coach and he's just trying
No,
to like produce.
he
Like
actually
he's
shut
actually
everyone up
very
last
good.
year.
He's
It was
very
like,
good
oh
as a head coach.
shit, he's pretty good.
No, he's a pretty good head coach. It's just that like that's the concern with Shador. There's also performance things and talent things with Shador, and when you accompany that with all of the drama,
No, yeah, I'm actually horrified of his
it's
work
difficult.
ethic.
Yeah, it
I'm
gets
horrified of the lack of work ethic that he'll have when he shows
like
up. Because
it has nothing to do with like
yeah, it's more off field, outside factors surrounding it than his playing ability
I
itself.
think if you were to take Shador Sanders' name off and you just kind of wrote down the facts, like you're still going to have the same problem. And I think that it's even more likely potentially that that player gets drafted later than the fifth round if you don't have that name there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought fifth's pretty
Like if
good.
you just take everything off, there's no Shador
On.
Sanders, there's no Shador Sanders name. Like it's just a blank thing. You don't know anything about him, like name, race. You just know height, weight, like everything. Like
Yeah,
it
but
could be worse. It could be worse. So
yeah, I think it's
but
very interesting looking at like Dylan Gabriel right now. Just sitting there, it's like, all right, well, just first the Cleveland Browns quarterback room.
horrendous.
We're gonna need Hard Knocks. I'm gonna need to see a little something. Just the names in that room. All right, you got, of course, Joe Flacco, the greatest veteran quarterback today in the NFL. You have Deshaun Watson, probably the number one role model and figure you could think for Shador Sanders as he
Don't know
enters
about that.
the NFL. You have Kenny Pickett, Kenny Two Gloves, I believe he is there. Is that yeah?
Yep.
Kenny Pickett. You have Dylan Gabriel, and then you have Shador Sanders. In terms of names, the most crowded quarterback room in terms of names ever.
Well, I also think it is just the most crowded quarterback league. That is five quarterbacks.
Yeah. Let's also start. Yeah, that is also true. That helps. But we know every single one of those guys. You know, we've heard of every single one of them, which makes it fun. Yeah, and I mean, Joe Flacco to Njoku is still going to go crazy. Don't get me wrong, but Njoku's still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Browns, we're
I
gonna be
mean,
humming on a
if
humming.
I'm a Njoku or Jerry Judy owner right now, I'm praying to God that Joe Flacco is my starting quarterback.
I think he has to be a starter of the year. It has to be Flacco, which is crazy to say, but
I
it
really,
has
really
to.
would not be surprised if it is Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but no, I'd actually be surprised right now. I would be surprised if Shador. I'd be surprised. I would be.
I just think that there's nobody in there that like is a certifiable starter. Like, yeah, I would expect Joe
No.
Flacco to be the starter just out of the fact that he did well on that team, and also he is the veteran there, and has had consistency over the past couple years in his performance. But at the same time, like that whole team stinks.
Oh yeah, grim
So
outlook. Yeah.
I wouldn't be overtly concerned. I would just, if I'm Arch Manning right now, I really pray to God that I just don't go out. Actually, you know what, I might have Cooper pull an Arch, and I might not I might say, hey, no, I'm not going to the Browns, because that's somebody who can actually back up the talk the talk and walk the walk, unlike Shador. So um
Yeah, but Shador, that was everyone was talking about that draft day stories, of course. Yeah, but I think we can yeah, Shador.
I was right though. He did fall a lot. I didn't think that much, but it was a
Well, yeah,
faller.
yeah. I let's start like nobody thought this is the biggest draft fall ever.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
from where
nobody
the
was saying
consensus
round
was,
five,
because
not
like even then, like with Malik Willis, it wasn't like it was a fall.
yeah.
Like
And like
it wasn't a
the
fall.
other recent example I was thinking of was like Will Levis, but I mean, like, come on, Will Levis was
Will
never actually a
Johnson
top 10.
technically
Well,
fell into the
that's
second
where I want to get
round
to.
also.
Will Johnson, in my eyes, is the biggest faller. Well, of course, obviously it's Shador, but we don't think Shador's that good. Will Johnson, in my eyes, like the biggest
Pound
faller,
for pound, yeah.
pound for pound. There, he's the biggest faller in terms of like, wow, like, huh. And this is what I'll say, like, if he falls later in the first round, that kind of counts. But going round two, like halfway through mid
Round
round
two,
two,
yeah.
every single team passed on you. And because of that, I think the only reasonable conclusion we can draw is that would, like with the Chargers passing on Will Johnson, they just admitted right there that pick, we cheated bad. We knew every single play. That's why Will Johnson looked amazing. It's pretty easy to play corner when you know the route's going to be ran at you. I don't know about you, Everett, but I think that would really help a corner out. If you
I mean,
know what
I
route the receiver's going to run, fact or fiction, that's really going to make you look better.
fact,
Fact. So
fact.
I think that's just clearly an admittance.
I mean, I also added like Vikings needed a corner, still need a corner because they didn't address it in the draft. But when the Packers were on the clock, the Packers kind of needed the corner. I was like, please do not draft Will Johnson. Like he is available. The Vikings should take him. They don't draft him. Like, all right, awesome. Like slam. If this is, I'm cool with a trade back. But if it's not a trade back, it better be Will Johnson, because Will Johnson, in my mind, is the second best corner in the draft. And pick goes in. I'm expecting it to be Will Johnson, and it's Donovan Jackson, and now I'm fine with that. But at the time, I was legitimately like, what?
What
Like
the
those
hell?
knees,
Yeah.
he better have worse arthritis than Todd Gurley. Like
Yeah. Like
I don't get it.
this dude better have like Brian Bosworth knees or shoulders or something.
Yeah, like I
It
don't
needs to be
understand.
very
I really
bad.
don't. But like the other thing is, I saw after the fact that the Vikings did clear it. Like their medical staff cleared his knees. Like so it wasn't an issue of his knees at all, because they said, hey, it's fine. Like it's fine by us. We think that he'll have a long career. Like whatever. Um, but they still skipped him.
Yeah, yeah. I think seeing every single team pass on Will Johnson that leads me to think, okay, there is something,
Also, by the
maybe
way, like
injury or there's
if the
something like,
Eagles aren't taking him, like I understand Gian Camel's disgusting,
well,
but
okay, yeah,
but The Eagles are a team who legitimately just go with like they don't care what position it is. They just draft who they think is the best player available.
Ooh, I have a slight caveat to that, but keep going.
But like last year, Quinion Mitchell and Exciting Whites, whatever bro's name is, um, drafted two corners, both best players available. Like this is a similar situation. Like best player available in my mind was Will Johnson, even though Jihad Campbell is very good. If the Eagles skip on you, that's also problematic.
Well, I was just saying, like the Eagles' draft strategy. Um, Obviously Quinion Mitchell and DeJean, like a slight wrinkle in the mix, but for the most part, they just take lit college players from Georgia and Alabama. It's a pretty simple draft formula. I would personally highly suggest it to the other 31 NFL franchises. It's not very complex. You just draft guys that were really sick in college, and like if that's not the number one factor, then did they go to Georgia/Alabama? That's the second factor in if you should draft them. And it's a really good, effective strategy, believe it or not. Who would have thought taking players from the two colleges that consistently get the best high school talent? Who would have thought that'd be the best strategy? Who I would have never thought that. But yeah, that's the formula for the Eagles. Just draft Alabama, Georgia players. I will also say this: when the Browns traded up in that pick, I remember reading a tweet saying the Browns have traded up in front of the Philadelphia Eagles. When I read that tweet, you know what the first thing I said out loud, Everett? I was like, well, if the Browns are trading ahead one pick of the Eagles, that means they're taking Smile London, because who else would the Eagles take other than Georgia linebacker God Smile London right there? Browns traded up over the Eagles to take Shador, and
Oh, you're talking about. I was very confused for when
I
that we were
thought
talking
the
about.
Browns were going to make a good draft decision, and like the Eagles are next. We know they're going to take London. We're going to beat them to the punch. We're taking London. No, Browns trade up, take Shador. Next pick, who the Eagles take? Smile London. Smile London is going to destroy the NFC Beast. Absolutely destroy the NFC B. Look up Smile London, true freshman Georgia. He is eating Ohio State alive. Eating Ohio State alive as a true. CJ Stroud had no idea what to do against 18-year-old Smile London. Zero clue.
Yeah,
Unreal.
I mean,
But Will
not a
Johnson,
bad
like,
situation when you get the starting linebackers of Bama and Georgia in the same
it's a
draft.
really smart draft strategy. I highly suggest it to the other 31 teams. But Will Johnson being passed on all these teams, uh, there's got to be something else. There has to be something else, because those 2 seasons at Michigan when they were cheating, that dude was elite. Okay, that dude was he would hurt. Now, ever I'm just saying he would always perfectly undercut routes. Hurt
I mean, like I
perfect
think it's a
timing.
little. It's not necessarily fully coincidental. Like it is a little bit, but I do think like there's still talent to you. Like
Oh, 100%. And he does have a lot of natural talent and ability, but a lot of his success was in zone, not man, zone. And
no, I get that, but like also at the same time, like
it just makes me.
I think that you do still have to credit like his abilities. It's not
Yeah,
like he's
he's
not a.
still very talented, but maybe he wasn't the. I thought he was like the number 4 player in this class. Oh, like he was so good. And maybe someone on that Michigan staff who has moved on, they're no longer at Michigan. They don't care. They're just like, oh, yo, we brother, I have Ohio State's playbook still on my
But
hard drive.
no, I think that could have played a factor into it, and I do think that like I do think that the Chargers going and taking Hampton, although we didn't expect like I've had in my mocks too period that like the Chargers weren't going to take Will Johnson even if Will Johnson was available. So that wasn't like super surprising to me. I did think that Hampton was going to be gone by then regardless, but
Yeah,
like not overtly surprising to me. It was when the Packers and the Vikings both skipped. And like I was like that
yeah. No,
was like, all
when
right.
Packers taking when that guy who announced the Packers pick said for the first time since 2002, my jaw was in the floor. I was like, shut up. There's
Mark
no
Murphy,
way.
their president of ops.
Okay, yeah. When he said, I was like, oh my God, I can feel the excitement right now in this draft like lobby they had.
I
But
did have like it's unfortunate because I like Will Golden, but I
yeah, we
basically
both
was
been
like
big fans. But
I
yeah.
basically was like I this is going to be Christian Watson 2.0. Thank you for giving us Will Johnson, and then we didn't draft Will Johnson, and I was like, all right, well, fuck.
Yeah, like
um,
the thing I think Golden's I I I like the potential that they kind of got going there.
no, I mean
Him and Reed.
him and Reed are going to be good, and it's not like they don't have a surplus of other wide receivers, but Christian Watson very clearly so
Yeah, no, we're
somebody's
going with
getting cut.
him.
And it's probably him. Um, but I think kind of a good pivot point for this episode. Let's go through the draft to give team grades. And I
Yeah.
know I texted you. There was an intention over the draft to post an initial round one grades, and I sent you all of my grades for the first round. Um, that didn't get posted, and now the rest of the draft is over. So at this point, we're just going to go through it and just grade teams on face value. I don't know how you're. I'm looking at ESPN right now on the draft tab. I'm on teams. For me, the
Okay, I'll
Vikings
do
are
that.
the first team in that list because I'm pretty sure it's just because I
Yeah.
follow them. So I'm going to start with the Vikings, and then we're going to go. I think it's the rest of it's alphabetical. So just first of all, Vikings.
Just real quick, are you
Donovan,
on ESPN draft and then teams slash teams?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. All
Teams.
right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So
Keep going.
Vikings, I'm not going to go through every single pick for every team, but
No, no,
just
no.
Viking wise, by the way. So Donovan Jackson, Ty Felton, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, Kobe King, and Gavin Bartholomew. Um, I'd probably say that's like a solid
All right. Purely
B.
looking at the names of all the players, we've got at least three NFL starters. Okay. Ty Felton,
Just by names.
excellent name. Kobe
Just by
King,
names.
holy shit. Like maybe one of the greatest names ever. Kobe King.
Yeah.
Gavin Barth, the tight end. Now I'm interested. Tight end
Definitely
Bartholomew.
has. Hey,
That's like
hey,
the only.
Bartholomew,
I think that's the only position where you could have that last name. What other position could rep Bartholomew?
safety.
Could they?
I could
Could
kind
they
of see it. Just
really?
a strong safety flying down, just getting rocked by a Bartholomew.
A a strong safety flying getting rocked by a tight end Bartholomew,
No, I'm
or
saying
a
the
strong
strong
safety
safety rocking
Bartholomew?
you named Bartholomew.
Oh no, no, no! In my eyes, if Bartholomew is a safety, he's a free, and if he comes down to fill the run game, he's getting trucked, ran through. That's
Okay,
how. That's what
but
I see.
but
Regardless, though.
just talking about the Vikings. I would probably say that's a B. I do. Ty Felton's a good fill. Like that's just best player available. That speedy 6'1" guy. Don't exactly need a wide receiver, but like still best player available. So I get it. I like it. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins going to fill inside. Kobe King, we did need a linebacker. And Gavin Bartholomew, we needed a tight end, period. Donovan Jackson is interesting because like you could have
I
traded back in
love
that. I
him
know you
for
do.
you.
I know you do.
Love.
Could have traded back and gotten draft quality, like quantity, and then still have gotten a corner or something, which is a need, which they didn't address, which is partially why I'm saying a B. And I know that the Texans right behind them probably would have drafted Donovan Jackson had they traded back. So it's not like he would have been available. But it is one of those things where like I was like, hey, I'd be fine if it was Gray Zabel. I don't love Booker, but like I would have been fine with a guard. So I'm not like I don't hate this pick. I wish we could have traded back if we were going to draft a guard anyways, but tackle, guard, plays both those positions. Darisal's probably out the first couple of weeks, so he could start with tackle, move inside a guard. Like it's
No,
fine.
yeah, that's
Just
the thing. Like
I think the
yeah,
draft overall was more focused on the offensive side of the ball than it really should have because they needed safeties, they needed defensive tackle, they needed which they drafted, but they needed corners, and they didn't draft a single corner. And they only signed like two corners. So I'm assuming that means something's in the work
yeah.
to
Maybe you
sign
guys
like an
trade for
Asante Samuel.
Ramsey.
Maybe we go and trade for Sauce Gardner. Maybe we sign Asante Samuel.
Sauce. Oh, whoa,
Maybe you go and
Sauce.
trade for Jalen Ramsey. But
Sauce, you may need to give up the entire next year's draft for. I don't
but
know. I don't know if you want to do that.
it's like I heard some contractual stuff with him is going on, which means he has leverage. But I just think not getting a corner kind of is tough. And I had a little bit more focus on the defensive side of the ball or offensive side of the ball than the defensive. So Cardinals, I think an A. Will Johnson, Walter Nolan. That's all you have to say. They did get Denzel Burke.
Oh,
Um,
Simon also great pick. I love this draft for Arizona. Uh,
I say A period. I think that like very defensive
Birch
focused, which
too.
they
I'm a
finally are
fan of
addressing.
Birch. I'm a
They're
fan of
finally
Birch.
addressing Birch. Like I think that like that's like a steal in the third round too. Like first 3 rounds are incredible. Like they might have
I really
arguably the
like
best
this.
draft.
Yeah, I actually
I don't give out A pluses. Let's start with that. But like this
you
would be the A
can't.
plus.
You
This would be
can't
the
give
A
out an A
plus.
plus.
But Arizona, I think in my mind, period, had the best draft.
Yeah,
Like
I really like
overall.
this draft. A concern I'd have is when I think of Walter Nolan specifically, he is some slight heavy baggage. Walter Nolan is a star and he likes to be treated as so, which I think is okay. I think you can make things work with that. Nolan, I think that career could go one of two ways. He could be really good really fast,
I
or
agree with that.
I
Well, also like the Cardinals brought in like Calais Campbell, and I do think having
I
like
think
a
that's a
Calais
very
Campbell
good
here
guy to have with
is
Nolan.
very good
I
for
like
Walton
that.
Nolan's
Okay.
future.
Okay. I
Um,
also just like Calais Campbell. He's kind of more of a big body defensive end. I think that also be good for Birch.
yeah. All right, going to Atlanta because we do have 32 teams, so I
Yeah,
don't
no,
want to
no.
spend like too much
Yeah, no,
time.
no.
So Atlanta, C plus,
The trading up for the James Pierce, I can't get on board
giving
with.
up a future first
I
is
can't get on board with that.
wild,
Yeah, for the
wild.
26 pick in the draft. I
Jalen
can't.
Walker at 15,
Yeah, yeah.
cool with,
No, I love
good.
and
Is
thank
his
God Michael was gone by then because that
if
would have been a
his is
talent
his
wasted.
career over? Yes, I mean his career
Probably
is
it's
over.
probably done. Let's just be honest here. Shit. Any Georgia Bulldog Atlanta Falcons fans
I
could tell
also
that
like
themselves.
I don't like giving up the first, and I know hindsight's 2020, and I know Mike Green had some off the field issues, which we're not going to talk about, but um if you had the assumption that a player also James Pierce had off field issues anyway, so it's not like they cared. But if you had if you had an expectation that a guy might fall that's a first value edge rusher and you're interested in an edge rusher, I would have just waited. Like I
Yeah.
don't know
And
what
it's
I think
also
also
just them
that
going
also
to
is partially
Atlanta. I
that's also
that
partially why I
frustrates
was in,
so much
I
higher.
was frustrated with the Vikings because like yes they do need a guard. Donovan Jackson's really good, but if you could have gotten a future first to
Oh
move
yeah.
back
Yeah, no,
into
of
the
course,
second
of course,
round,
of course.
take that no matter what.
Help me out just real quick. The back half of that first kind of early, there were a bit of linemen kind of going, right?
There was there was like a tag like Connerly from Oregon went to Washington, and obviously Donovan Jackson went, but like and Josh
Okay.
Simmons. So I
Okay.
think that's really it.
Okay.
Um, Baltimore, Malachi
Just
Starks.
out of just
Oh
nature
my,
of being at Baltimore, they're gonna at least get a B plus because most of these guys are probably just gonna hit going to Baltimore. But uh love
I give
Malachi
them an A
Starks.
minus. I give them an A
Malachi
minus.
Starks and Kyle Hamilton. We
Great.
safety coaches, you may have a film duo that you can use to teach for the
Also,
rest of your life
look,
with them too.
off the field stuff aside, Mike Green is a very good player on the
Oh
field.
yeah, him and
Steal in the second
away
round.
off the edge. Oh,
Now, the rest of these guys, like I don't love Emory Jones in the third round. I really don't like that.
can't say I'm too
Um,
familiar with Emery's work.
I just most of these other guys like I don't really think are gonna be super big contributors. Like
Yeah, they had a ton of late picks. They had five,
yeah,
6 round picks.
and I think a decent amount of these were like reaches, but I like those first 2 rounds. Like I think that gives you an A minus off the bat, and I think one of these guys later will probably be a contributor. It's just like it's quantity, and somebody's bound to hit.
Yeah,
I just think that, like I said, the talent they addressed all the positions that they needed to. Um, the first 2 rounds just alone, like that just gives you an A minus.
I
Buffalo,
really like Starks. specifically though, just because Kyle Hamilton was literally playing every single defensive position last year out of need. They had to move him around based on situation. And
No,
I
I
think
agree with that.
with Starks back there, you have a rock. We can let Hamilton be in the box a little bit more moving
No, I agree.
forward.
I agree with that.
So
I agree
I
with
love
that.
that for Kyle Hamilton. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Next team.
Buffalo B.
Maxwell Hairston, I think it's a boomer bust again. This dude's either
Yeah,
going to
I
be
would agree
really
with
nice
that.
or he's going to be atrocious. I don't know which one it is. Zero
B
clue.
minus.
Landon Jackson is just such a Buffalo Bills D end. Landon Jackson is 4.5 sacks, 2 TFL, like so Buffalo
I
Bills.
just like
So Bills.
they went
I love Hancock
corner,
though. Well,
corner,
but
tack, D tackle, edge, D tackle. Like I know you like Hancock. Like the first 5 picks were all the same set of positions.
yeah, like specifically the D tackle, edge D tackle. I can
And within the
the
first seven
the
picks, they
ceilings of
drafted
those
three
players.
corners. They drafted 3 corners in the first 7 picks.
I feel like Buffalo always is messing up their drafts, and
I like Dorian Strong a lot too. Like I think that was a very good pick in the 6th round. Hancock, I know you like. Harrison, I just at 30, I probably would have traded out. I
yeah.
you still have Trey Amos, and you have
Who's
Siobhan Revel too.
is Amos the Iowa State guy? Who's the Iowa
No,
State
no,
corner? Because he went like 36 or 34.
yeah, no, I know who
I'm
you're talking
forgetting.
about. I don't. We'll get there, but I
Noel
just
is his name. Noel. We'll
Noel
we'll
is
we'll see there.
is I
We'll get
think
when we
that
get there. All
whatever.
right, Carolina.
But I would say like B minus.
Okay, Carolina. I actually think the Tet pick was
I
kind of
like
good
it.
at that
I like
for
that that
Bryce,
value. Yeah,
and with what's going on. Like, hey, Bryce was pretty good last few games of the year. Bryce kind of showed that he was an NFL quarterback. So I like the Tet pick. You have to help Bryce out. Scourton. I love Scourton's motor, and he's a dog. And because of that, I feel like he's a bit more bust proof than Shamar Stewart out
yeah.
of A&M. But like, you know, yeah, Scourton I might with. Ole Miss DN. I
I
don't know a damn
probably
thing. I can't
I
act
would
like I know
go
anything.
B plus on this draft. I go B
ETN,
plus.
I think it's all
Don't
right.
love.
I love Ransom,
I just think that there are
especially.
I think there are other running backs available better than ETN
Oh,
at
I
that
agree with
pick.
you. I agree with you on that. I agree. It was kind of a
Cam
reach in a
Jackson,
way.
yeah.
Lathan,
Cam
I
Jackson's a good,
really love for this team. Carolina struggled in the
yeah.
run game, defending the run. Lathan Ransom, he
I think Mitchell,
be might be the best tackling safety I've ever watched at Ohio State. Okay,
yeah,
Lathan does not
Mitchell
miss it.
Evans, good pick in the 5th round.
I also
Jimmy
love Jimmy
Horn,
Horn. I love Jimmy Horn. For your
I just don't
sixth
know if he
round,
was
why not? Why not?
yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to contribute anything. But
Well,
um,
sure. I mean, it's your 6th round pick.
my thought process on draft picks might be a little bit different though, because I always think about it as like who can end up contributing at some point, and some people don't think about it that way. They just think of like camp bodies or like depth. Chicago. I I personally would go with like a C plus,
Um,
and I know Luther Burden in the
yeah.
2nd round, like that's a great pick.
Um,
Shamar Turner also very solid pick end of the 2nd round,
I can't say I'm
but
familiar with Ozzy Trapila. What a
yeah,
name.
but
What a name, Ozzy Trapila.
drafting attack, like I don't understand the Loveland pick. I don't know why you would do that. I know tight end was a technical need for them. You still have Cole Kmet, who's a
I
top
think
10,
Ben
I believe
Johnson
is a
might
top.
just have like a tight end
He does, but
fetish.
like you have a top 10, I believe top 10 paid tight end right now. Maybe he's trying to run 2 tight end sets,
Well, that was the
but
thing I was hearing. He really loves two tight end. Um,
even then though, like Warren is available. And I think Warren is better than Loveland, period. So like that kind of was caught me off guard when Loveland went before Warren. So I think I know there were people talking about maybe trading up, and then once they drafted Loveland, like they stopped. So maybe the boards for the NFL teams were different than the way that the public had it with Warren above Loveland.
Well,
Um,
I just think Loveland's a bit more of just like your classic tight end.
right. No,
Like
I
he
get
lines up
that.
on the line. Like
Um, but I just a lot of these pick like I don't get the tackle pick in the second round. I really don't. I know maybe they could have used a tackle, but like I don't believe that that was the best tackle available at that pick. Period. Shamar Turner, defense tackle, they didn't need that, and like Luther Burden's a steal, but I think overall like they could have had much better picks. Outside of the Luther Burden pick, I think there were better people available for better positions that they needed. So
I'm
I'm
just
I'm
looking
going C
Ruben
plus.
Hippolyte the second. What are these names? I mean, wow. Ruben Hippolyte the second.
They could have been name centric. All right, let's go to the Bengals. Bengals. Grant, this is like a C minus.
Bro, I hate this draft.
This
This might
draft.
be
This
one of
is
my
this is
least
in
favorite
D.
drafts
This is
I've
in D
watched.
territory.
The Shamar Stewart, I, you know, at the right place, I think Shamar Stewart could have been a 10 sack season guy. But going to Cincinnati, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I
Six and a
also I
half,
like
7.5. 7.5
I
generous. I'm giving them
I
leeway
don't
there.
I don't really like Knight in the second round.
I just don't like any linebackers early ever. But
Yeah,
they need
yeah,
they need a lot of defense
they
help.
do, but like also like
Um,
they definitely needed offensive line help way more in the
yeah,
second round than linebacker.
I love
I do
Fairchild
love
around there.
Fairchild. I do like that pick,
I'm a big fan of Fairchild.
and I do
Derek
think Taj
Carter, I
Book.
am a fan round 4 as well. But if
I
you're
do
gonna
think
take Carter round 4, why take the linebacker round 2?
exactly, but also like I like Taj Brooks. Like I think that that's a good value in the sixth round. I just think overall this I mean this draft stinks.
Yeah, no, like I'm not a fan. I'm not sure how many.
I think Shamar Stewart
I
is
think
like had
Fairchild
his
will.
potential.
I think
I
Fairchild
just
genuinely has highest possibility of being
I
a
just I
second
don't.
contract player on this team.
And like I understand sometimes like methodology is like, hey, we're gonna keep drafting positional like players in the same position because one of them will probably work out. It's the same ideology. You draft multiple quarterbacks, so like, hey, one of them will work out. I just think that there's so many other holes to deal with, especially on the offense, that you're not addressing positions that actually are like important.
Yeah, all right. So,
Browns.
Cleveland. Everett, just real quick. I want you to just like look at picks 2 4 Quinshawn to Shador and the positions. I just want you to take a look real quick. Um, were the Cleveland Browns drafting for fantasy football? Were they drafting for like popularity? Were they drafting for like
All right. Well,
headlines?
let's look at
Because this
this.
isn't how you draft to
I'll put it this
fix
way.
a football
You
team.
you go through Grant, if you stop at pick 3-3, if you don't look at anything after that, I think this is a pretty good draft.
Pretty
Mason
good.
Graham with the trade, you get a first round pick back.
Yeah, maybe we
You
should
get,
chill on the skill guys. Like
you get a linebacker, which is necessary. The guy that I
maybe
don't know how to
Will
pronounce his last name,
Johnson
but
at
like
2 4 would have been the pick.
the UCLA, like pretty good. Also, Will Johnson I probably would have taken, but like Quinshawn Judkins, I like that pick.
Well, I
like you don't have a running back.
Judkins, but
Harold
if you're gonna
Fandon,
take
like good pick.
Sampson, who I also love.
That's why I said
shit,
stop.
You just
stop.
killed
Hey,
2 players.
don't read after 3-3. If you just look at 3-3 up, good draft. The problem is you get to the stuff after 3-3. You get to Dylan Gabriel, Dylan Thompson, and Shador. That ruins the draft for me. Like I think that if you were to stop at 3-3 and just kind
Those
of
are
like
early picks.
win from there, like I probably would have given this like an A minus with the addition of the rest of the stuff like B minus.
I'm saying like a C plus C just because like
it doesn't make sense.
It's the Cleveland Browns are not a couple of offensive weapons away from doing anything.
No.
Like, the D tackle pick, you're like a D, Mason Graham, like maybe you want to be paying him 20 mil. Maybe you want 20 million to a D tackle, maybe, but like you want to take some guys here who you are willing to pay 25, 30 million. That's the guy.
No, 100%.
Can't pay because they're I also in a like
Mason Graham is a very good player, and like I think he's going to be good. I just personally think that if you're at 5, like
dude, you could have had Travis.
Well, 1, you could have had Travis Hunter, but 2, You're at 5. Like I would have traded back again. I would have just been getting
Yes.
more capital, more and more
Again.
capital. Just
Yes.
keep going back.
Yeah. I think there's so many holes on this team, and this may have done the worst thing possible. This may have made them competitive next season. Like these skill guys might get them to the playoffs next year, and then you get
Yeah.
bounced in the wild card, and then you're right back to square one. And
All right.
so, yeah,
Let's look at the Cowboys here next pick. I mean, hey, these first 4 picks, I Tyler Booker, I like Donovan Izaraku, I like Siobhan Revel in the 3rd round. I think that's a steal. Jaden Blue, they need a
yeah,
running
I'm a
back.
fan.
Okay, all really good. I can't say that I know an absurd amount about the rest of these picks. Um, I would probably give them an A. I would give them an A. I'd give them an A. Like I think the only thing that really didn't address was wide receiver, and I do think that there might have been an ability to get a better running back than Jaden Blue, but Jaden Blue is still good.
I want to hold
Um,
out on the A grade. I want to hold out on that. Um, just out of the sense of guard 12. Cowboys guard lottery
I do
pick
think
though.
I,
You
I
think
do
Zach
think
Martin? You
that
think, oh, this dude's gonna be here forever? It
I
helps.
do think though, like with Zach Martin retiring, you
Yeah,
do
no,
need
no.
to fill that
I
void.
get, yeah,
Also, like Dak Prescott has getting hit a lot and gotten hurt a lot because that O line hasn't been
true,
good.
true.
And
But
guard is much more of a premium
hey,
position now than it has ever been.
I mean, a bit more valuable now. But I mean, look at what the Cowboys did when Zach Martin was one of the highest paid players on the team.
Very true. Very true. But um
How many
like
playoff wins? Wait.
it's not going to change either way, even if they got a receiver or something. But I mean, I personally, I had them getting a receiver. I probably would have done that. But like, I understand it. The Vikings did the same thing technically in a sense. So maybe we can compromise. We'll say B plus.
I'm cool though with your lineman coming at the end, and also versatility. He can go anywhere.
True.
Booker's a
True.
guard.
All right, Grant. We got to speed this up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, okay.
Denver. John A. Barron. Like I get. They want to have a better
Getting
second corner. I
okay.
get
I
it.
didn't quite realize they got Harvey, they got Joe, ooh, and they got Quay. Oh, damn it, Everett. I hate to announce it, but dude, Quay Robinson's gonna be so good on this team. He's gonna be
I'm
so good on this team. Oh boy.
I give them an A.
Yeah, shit, that's a good
I
draft.
give them an A.
As a
That's a good
Chargers
draft.
fan, I don't like
Um,
reading that.
let's look at the
Lions,
lines.
Tyreek first. You know,
D plus.
I like Tyreek. You know,
D
I'm a
plus.
rock with Tyreek because Tyreek's rocking with me. I also love Tate Ratledge, absolutely love, but I Isaac to help me out here. To slaw, help me. How do you pronounce
Tesla.
it? Tesla? Tesla. Uh yeah, not the biggest fan. Also, Dominic, love it. That dude's a P squatter, but hey, this is 28 pick in the 7th. Who cares? Yeah, Tyreek, I don't love. Ratledge, I'm a big fan of. That's Motor City right there. Miles Frazier also, like those are 2 really good picks right there. I hate to say Everett. Those are 2 really solid picks. The Tyreek though, maybe a
I
bit of
I
a
just
reach. You
I
know,
just dude Isaac Tesla, like that was
yeah,
a
no, no, no,
third
no.
round
That's
pick,
a
and you know how many
I
other
have no idea
receivers
who
that were
that
good
is.
are there? Like I get Miles Frazier, I get Tate Ratledge, everything like Ahmed, who's I don't even know how to pronounce that. Whatever.
Unfamiliar with his
I think
work.
that outside of those 2 guards, like everybody else is just not it. It's not it based on just the situation. I'd say D plus. Green Bay,
D
um,
plus or B plus?
D plus.
D plus. Okay.
Green Bay, Matthew Golden, I like. Savion Williams, I like. Do not understand Anthony Belton. Baron Sorrell, I mean, I like. Micah Robinson, I obviously like, but like, I give them a B,
I
B
think.
plus.
I was gonna say like a B minus maybe.
Okay, we'll say B.
Maybe a bit lower than
Houston,
I am on that. I just think TCU wide receiver. What are we doing? Have we not learned anything, people?
Houston,
What are we doing? Like,
Well, hey, I hope Jack Bash is in a different group. But Houston, um, you get a B
is this
minus.
the most
I'm
trades ever? Not one of the
every
selections in their draft was
was
originally
theirs.
Houston's.
Yeah, I mean, look, I Jaden Higgins, like I think is a good receiver. I don't know if I would have drafted him 2-2, especially with Luther Burden on the board, and you
All
have
right, I
other
missed
really big
this.
issues.
I missed this. I can talk on this, but I missed this. I did not realize they took Jalen Smith round 3. Okay, I got some things to say about
And
USC
I do
boys because both of these I did not see any mocks anywhere that had Jalen or Woody Marks going round 3 or
that
round
high.
4.
No, no.
I've not seen anything. Uh, Woody Marks first. Wow, when I saw him go round 4, I was actually stunned. That had me like, Woody? Holy shit. I did not see anything having him this high. I Woody's a nice little runner, and I think as he's not gonna split with Mixon. Mixon's really good. But as a backup,
Also, Damian Pierce is behind him.
oh, I think Damian Pierce is washed already. He got ran to the dirt. No, I'm not even trying to be funny.
That
He
first
got ran
season.
to the dirt his first year.
But look,
But
like I'm
Jalen
not.
Smith,
I'm
though, I think is one of the this guy could really be something.
no.
This
I mean,
dude
I know we've talked about
likes
that.
to
I'm
play
also.
football.
I'm not
That's how
trying
I
to like
describe it.
spend
Yeah, no, no, yeah.
too much time. But like, look, getting both Iowa State wide receivers,
Holy
like
shit, Graham Mertz round 6. Whoa, whoa.
questionable. Like
I
I know, like I will say them drafting 2 wide receivers in the first with their first 3 picks, both being from Iowa State, like makes me very concerned about Tank Dell. It makes me think
Oh
that Christian
yeah,
Kirk is dead, which was already kind of expected. But um also though, when offensive line like CJ might die before he can get the ball out to either of these wide receivers. So that is another problem because they only addressed offensive line with 1 pick in this entire draft. Like, I don't love that. I also don't really understand. I said Jaden Higgins, like, he's a good wide receiver. I do think he's a good wide receiver, but like, I personally think Luther Burden is much better than him. So I don't understand why you're drafting Jaden Higgins over Luther Burden when Luther Burden's available. Maybe we'll find out why, but right now I don't get it.
and also if we're
With
just
that,
thinking Texans wide receiver body types, Nico's your tall, big body. Luther could be that different body.
yeah,
They're both.
I'm gonna say C plus. Colts, Tyler Warren's good. JT, cool with that. Justin Wally, I thought he'd be there later. I did not think he'd be a 3rd round pick, but whatever.
I kind of like this. Not gonna lie. Just
I'd say
taking a
B
quick.
minus.
Okay. I might
Giddens is a good
throw him
pick.
up into B, but I actually kind of like this. JT
Jacksonville.
gonna be solid, but okay. Duval.
I'd say
Monheim late.
A
I
minus.
love Kaiser mid round.
I'd say A minus. I like Jack Kaiser. I didn't think Kayla Ranso would be a 3rd round pick, but I'm very happy he is. Wyatt Millam, like I like him. I think he's good. Tootin, you and I both know that we both like Tootin.
Yep.
Travis Hunter, obviously they did give up a pick for that, but like, dude, it's a fucking Travis Hunter. Like,
it's Travis Hunter.
so I'm
Come
cool
on.
with that. I'd give them an A. Chiefs, Josh Simmons, still got him. Trade back
Dude,
a little
I
bit.
just feel Josh Simmons just looks like a Chief starting tackle
Yeah.
for 9
Yeah.
seasons, right? Like,
But look, Omar Norman Lott, good, very good pick. Very
oh,
like, especially
I
31.
that one pissed me off. I was like, dude.
Noel Williams in the 3rd round too, like good corner. I like that. Jalen Royals, 4th round. That's very good value.
I mean, I could just see Jeffrey Bossa just putting up 14 sacks against the Chargers one day.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Brashard Smith, like 7th round, very good value. I give that draft an A. Chargers, Grant. I'll let you do the honors of this.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Looking at from a wide lens, I'm fine the Hampton there because I love Trey Harris in that 2nd round. I love Jamari Caldwell, and I also love Kyle Kennard. Well, I thought, like, I wanted Will Johnson there, but considering what the next 3 picks were, I'm liking the Hampton pick. I love that Kennard pick. He was a dog opposite of Dylan Stewart last year at South Carolina. Caldwell also very, very good, both of his matchups against Ohio State. Trey Harris, I think, could also be a bit more of a possession type receiver, intermediate passing game to kind
I
of
personally
complement
love
Lad.
the fit. I
Uh,
love the fit with
yeah,
Trey
I think
Harris.
Treyarch would work out well. One player I really hated was KLS. I did not like that pick at all. Like
Yeah, you
knowing
texted me, you're
him
like, what the
from
fuck?
Penn State, I was just like, dude, KLS was getting strapped up by true freshmen at Ohio State when he was at Penn State. Like, dude, I'm not a fan of that one. Uh, Syracuse tight end, I can't say I
Yeah,
know
no,
anything.
I
And
don't. I
but
know how many tight ends were available, and I know which tight ends were available, and I do not like that pick in the fifth round. Personally, if they were trying to go wide receiver tight end, I probably would have done tight end with that first pick, and then a wide receiver with that second one. Ironically, I think both of those players would have been available at either one of those
I would
draft
give him
spots.
B B. I give him a B. Maybe B plus.
I
I
mean,
really
I
love
would
round
say,
two,
look,
three,
like
four.
I'd say A minus the first four rounds, and then after that, it kind of falls off the rails. So I would say B is fair. B plus, I'd
Like
say it's
I
fair.
really love Caldwell and Kennard.
I do
Really
like the
love those.
value of Mickens in the sixth round, though. I think that's good value. All right, looking at the Rams here, I this draft is just, I mean, Josiah Stewart, good pick in the third round. Um, I I think this draft kind of just blows.
The Ferguson shocked me, but
I
when I
knew they
saw
needed a
that
tight
was
end because I know. God, what's his name? Tyler Higbee is getting up there.
oh yeah,
I just at 14, like I don't.
yeah, I
I
thought it was
was
a bit early,
assuming
but
that he would be there either way, and I
in
also think there's
my
other
eyes,
positions to deal with.
in my eyes, that Fergie pick means McVay's using Fergie in the
No, I agree with
offense.
that. I also think that the Rams are going to play this year. Like they're going to play to win the Super Bowl. Period. Like, but I
I
do
think
think
the Rams are
the Rams are
gonna.
preparing for next year's draft. Like they are preparing to set up
Okay,
an
I'm just
arch.
thinking with the Niners this upcoming season. I think I don't think it's crazy to have the Rams. I think I'm going to pick the Rams to win the NFC West.
I would also agree with that. I also just think though, like the Rams got that other like they were fine because I think they were going to take Terrace Ferguson either way. Um, but like at the same time, like they got that extra first next year. My expectation, Grant, is they're going to use that first and their first and trade up and draft a quarterback next year. And
Okay,
I feel like it's going to be Arch for Arch. Like that's as of this moment on April
I'd
28th
love
of
that. I would
2025.
love
That's
that.
what I'm feeling.
I would love
Um,
that.
I'd give this a C plus. All right, Raiders. I love this draft. I absolutely love this draft. This draft gets an A from me. Love Genty, obviously. I love Jack Bash. I think that he can be their wide receiver one this season. Don't think that's long term, but I do think that he can end up being like a wide receiver two. You find your true wide receiver later. Darian Porter is the Iowa State corner that you were talking about. Um, Caleb Rogers, I think, is an okay pick. I don't really know much about this guy from William and Mary.
Yeah, I just
Um,
saw William and Mary tackle round three. I was like, wow, that might be
I
a
like
first.
I like Cody Lindenberg in the seventh round. Um, and I think the rest of this is just kind of good depth selections, but just like those first like five picks, it's just I mean I really like them. So um, I do think that they maybe they could have switched a couple of things around, but like I would say this is an A draft from my book. Um,
Yeah, I just say like I mean, who cares? Six picks and beyond.
right.
Like yeah. Let's say yeah. Okay.
Miami, I think for the value, you're probably going C.
Yeah. Now I will give them this. They were like, we have holes and we're gonna address those first. So
Yeah.
I'll give them credit there. They were like, dude, we need to fix D tackle. All right, we need to.
They
So
kind of went BPA, but like for those specific positions.
yeah.
But I'd still say C. Patriots. I think this is a very good draft. I think they fixed a lot of stuff. Will Campbell, Mr. T Rex arms. I think that's a good pick. Travion will start, and they have a combo with Ramondre. Kyle
I
Williams
love Jared
toasted the
Wilson.
shit. Yeah, Kyle Williams toasted the shit out of Travis Hunter. And Jared Wilson's a good pick. Craig Woodson, I don't know too much about, but Josh Farmer, I like. Um, Kobe
A
Minor,
place
I've
kicker and
heard
a
some good
long
stuff of.
snapper. Okay, Vrabel.
So I just think overall, like that's a roster overhaul, and that's just getting talent for what they need. I'd say
Yeah,
that's an
I think
A.
they got at least with Campbell and Wilson, you got
Um,
second contract guys.
yeah, Grant, New Orleans.
I want to start off by saying thank you for not taking Michael Williams. So I'll start off with that. Thank you.
Yeah, D minus.
Yeah, holy shit. Tyler Shaw, the Twitter Spaces. Have you seen the
Yeah,
stream?
I have.
It. Oh boy, I. It's one of the most entertaining things I ever watched. I mean, just what Tyler Shaw, dude. Tyler Shaw might be like 37 years old.
He is
Like,
Brandon Whedon. He's
yeah,
Brandon
it
Whedon.
was it was
I
mind
also
boggling.
don't understand why you draft a quarterback in the second, because you draft a quarterback in the first or second round. My assumption is you're gonna try and play
You're
them.
planning on playing them.
And if you have a better quarterback class next year, what are like the second round quarterbacks next year
Yeah.
are going to be better than Tyler Shock. So I don't get it. There's
I
way better
just
players available there too.
I'm personally really invested in Danny Stutzman and what he does in the NFL. And I don't know. I'm not gonna put this out there and say it's gonna happen, but I really want Danny Stutzman to be a starting linebacker in the NFL for at
it's
least
I
three
mean
seasons. And like if
look,
Demario Davis could just pass that baton off,
torch.
pass the torch off to Danny, I would appreciate that a lot, Demario.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I'll say. I mean, I said D minus. I'll say D.
Yeah, no,
Um,
we can stick with the minus. I like
it's
that.
fine. Giants. I like this draft a lot. The trade for Jackson Dart, interesting, but Abdul Carter, obviously good. Darius Alexander in the third round is fantastic value. Scatabo might not
Scatabo
be good
also
for
just
Tyrone Tracy, but great pick. I don't know much about these last three picks, but I think those first four picks I mean, those are home run hitters. So
yeah. We'll
I give
see
them
the
an A on
Dart.
that.
I don't think they gave up a lot for Dart. So I'm
Yeah,
cool
I
with it.
mean, yeah.
Okay,
Jets
Jets. Oh,
didn't do a whole lot to fix their team.
all right, I'm a fan of Malachi Moore and Tyler Barron late. To be honest, Arian Smith, bro, Arian Smith, you'll be lucky to get 180 receiving yards out of him in a single season. Okay, lucky to get 180 receiving yards out of Arian Smith. Mason Taylor, probably a reach there that early in the second.
They just need a tight end, to
But
be fair. I don't
yeah,
know.
I
Yeah,
was
in the
seeing that
second
a
round,
ton.
pick 10 is, I mean, that's
Yeah. I think Membu though is probably gonna be a pretty damn good
he'll be good.
NFL
He'll be
tackle for
good.
a while. So
Eagles. I don't even want to spend time talking about it. Hey, let's move to the next
they
one.
always hit
Let's
every
just move to
single
the next
one.
one.
And they took Honda. Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steelers. Caleb Johnson, love that pick in the third round. Derek Harmon, I think it's a good pick.
I
Jack
obviously got to
Sawyer.
put on for them. But
Will Howard also sixth.
no, I know Sawyer and
Great
Howard.
pick.
I got to put on
I
for.
love this draft. I think this draft's very good. I think this draft's very good. I'd say A minus.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a rep in A. I have to out of respect for my boys.
Steelers, Gray Zabel, like Nick Eamon. I think Kelvin Winston, whatever his name is, better than Eamon, but Eamon is an athlete, so it's okay. I also could have had a couple other players there that they might have used better.
I do
Arroyo,
not like seeing Damian Martinez land there.
yeah,
That's a crowded back room.
That he's gonna get cut,
Yeah.
and he'll send somewhere else. But Arroyo, do not like that in the second round. Do not like that in the second round. I know they might be shopping Noah
Yeah,
Fant.
no,
I
that's
do not like that. I do like Riley Mills. I do not like Jalen Milrow. I do like Torrey Horton.
Oh,
I mean,
I love the
I
Mills
like
pick.
I mean, I like Damian Martinez. I do not like that he went there.
Yeah.
And the rest of these,
Yeah.
like Ricky White, I don't know too much about. So I mean, B, probably say B.
Yeah, B.
49ers, love Michael,
Oh.
love Alfred Collins.
Oh,
both
them
of
too.
those are great.
Oh,
CJ
them too.
West, I love. CJ West, I love. Jordan James, I like.
Yeah,
I even
I'm a
like
big fan
Curtis
of him.
Rourke there. I even like Curtis
Yeah,
Rourke
for your
there
round
too.
7.
I don't know too much
32.0.
about Nick Martin. I doesn't seem like he's a good value in the third round there. I probably still put them at a B. I think end to end a B, B
I'm gonna
plus.
give him A minus.
So I'll say B
Michael and Alfred
plus.
Collins are gonna be ballers.
No, they refortify that entire defensive
And
line.
like in my
I
eyes,
like that.
just them two
Uptown
alone, I'm giving them.
Upton Sound is good. I just think he's just kind of undersized, 5'9", and in the third round. I don't love that. Bucks.
I have no
Love
idea.
Benjamin Morrison.
I'm
I hate every other pick that they
so
made.
confused
Yeah,
with what's
very
going on.
confused.
Like,
They're getting a D.
yeah,
Like they're getting a D. And the only thing that saves them legitimately saves them from an F is the fact that they drafted Benjamin Morrison because I think he's really
yeah,
good.
no,
I
no,
think Jacob
that's
Harris is good too, but
yeah, no, that's what's helped him out a ton. But like,
I don't understand McMillan. I'm a little biased, but McMillan was balling at the end
he
of the
was.
year.
No, no, he was. I
You
think
just
though what
resigned
the
Chris
kind of
Godwin,
saying that
and
is Godwin
like,
is not ready to come back, and
why would
maybe
you?
this also says if Godwin does come back, we're not
I just
expecting anything.
I just don't know why. Like he has to pass a physical to sign that contract extension. You're the
No,
only
yeah,
team that
hey,
definitely knows his status. So I
yeah,
really, why would you not let the Patriots sign him? Why like let another team deal
we
with
got a
that?
lot of questions. We don't have enough
Especially if he
answers.
liked at Mecca. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
D minus D minus. Um,
Titans.
Cam Ward can't really do much about. Kevin Winston in the third round. Love that pick. Kalel Mullings. Hey, shout out to
I'm a
he's one
fan
of
of
the he's
Helm. I'm a fan of Helm. Ayomanor, Ayamanor. Help me out. Help me out with this pronunciation.
I'm the
Uh,
wrong guy to ask.
shit. Okay. You know,
I've heard good things about him.
yeah. A lot of people were talking about his game against Hunter. He was mossing him all over. Uh,
Yeah,
you know,
I would probably put
we're
this at a solid B.
yeah, B minus. I'm thinking.
Like,
Around
although like
there.
Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this draft period, but like, and I know it's the 1-1
Yeah, they were
consensus,
gonna
whatever,
take
but
him.
like that I still would say like Cam Ward overall in the concept like is a B. Is a B. I get like my first round grade on them was a B.
All right. What do we think about Washington?
Connerly, I do not love for the value of the pick that they had. I do like Trey Amos. Jalen Lane, I like in the fourth round. I think that's good value. The other two picks are they don't. I don't
All
really
right,
think they're
I
going to
just
do much for
quickly
them.
opened the bios for their players, and it appears as if the Washington Commanders drafted based on speed. Every single of these players are like top three in some 40 time
No,
10
you're just
yard
getting
split
athletes.
metric.
I,
So,
I mean, with them getting Trey Amos kind of fixes the whole like ability, like potential for something else. I just think you could have gotten Connerly later.
wait, all right, real quick.
Um,
Kane Madrano, 6'3, 225-pound linebacker. He runs a 4.46.
Athlete, they just go to
That is
athletes, and
so
I like
fast.
that could be your draft strategy, and I like getting athletes. And I get you reinforcing the O line for Jaden Daniels. So
Yeah,
I understand.
Jalen Lane, 4.34.
I'd probably put them at a B,
They just
B
drafted
minus,
speed.
B
You know what?
minus.
We are
You
now in
can't
an
even.
era where I
Yeah,
assume a commander's pick is going to be all right. Wow. Wow.
that says a lot.
Wow.
That
How
says a
the
lot.
world has changed.
I'd probably say B, and I think I'll walk it back and be like, that was a home run fucking draft. But I'll probably just put it at a B for now.
Yeah. But
Um, that's our draft breakdown, everybody. I hope you enjoyed
that is the
that. That's the
breakdown.
episode. That's the
Yeah, no,
episode.
that is it.
So with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on the Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy Pod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett6 and at Waterboy Grant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok. So make sure to follow us on there as well at the Waterboy Pod. And with that, we'll see you guys in next week's episode. Waterboy's out.